Alonzo, just what are the benefits of playing in a game like last week where you guys are in the thick of it in the fourth quarter and to just be able to pull one out late? What are the kind of lessons you all learned?
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows the true character and really the core of this team, the foundation that we are built on, just to be able to rally back, to continue to fight in front of this home crowd and pull out a tough W against a really good opponent.
We just had Zach in here, obviously, but just talk about the offensive line play last week, but even just the season as a whole, and especially to be able to play in a physical game like last week and to pull one out, just the job they were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see the depth from, the first five to the next up, just rotating Deacon at right tackle, being able to fill in, Josh being able to fill in at tackle. That's a real selfless group, real together group, and they're the backbone of this offense, and they're why we continue to go and why we're going to continue to go.
I know we've asked you a lot about Wayne this year, but I talked with him last week, and I know you guys came in together, but he mentioned how hard it was for him to step away from the team and enter the portal, but then to have him come back. What has it been like to kind of watch his development step by step throughout his career?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. Just what I've talked about with, a bunch of guys within his offense, people that have been through, some tough times, times that they really had to dig down deep and figure out who they were as a person, as a football player. And I think what has shown with that is just the resilience on the field to be able to continue to keep fighting, to continue to have each other's backs and be the best version of ourselves, knowing, what we've been through is, the reason why we are where we are. And that it's no reason to quit or give up, but more of a reason for motivation to keep going.
And it seems like it's come up a lot recently where JMU has given some people second chances. You've talked about it. Ben DiNucci talked about it a couple days ago. But what is it about this program that allows some of you guys to just kind of have that chance again to get a fresh start and make a name for yourself and move past maybe some obstacles?
It's really the culture that, not only this football program has built, but this university in general, I'd say. Just, being able to have that belief system in you, the backing, the support, the sold-out crowds, the environment where people really care and love for each other. It just brings the best out in, everybody on this team. And when you have chances like that and people who give you the confidence and the backing, you're able to go out there and play free, be your best and try your best.
And when you look at Wayne's ability to run the football, I mean, I know you guys were all celebrating his touchdown run this past weekend, but what is it about his game that allows him to be kind of as consistent as he is? And then, he's not really getting injured. He's always there. He's always the option. What is it about him that allows him to do that?
Well, he does a lot of work behind the scenes. In the weight room, he's pushing weight. In the training room, he's in there every day getting all the recovery necessary. And, I mean, just being able to run behind that offensive line, they do a really good job, staying within their 1/5 of, whatever the run responsibility may be. Pat pancaked the guy on that. We had great movement from, the right guard over to the left side of the line to be able to open up that hole. And even with the pulling, tight end, I think it was Dip. That was in, or Fife, I forget which one, but the safety was tracking him because they did a great job, all game, just kicking out, faking the kick out, wrapping up to the second level. So, and Wayne has great vision. He's a great ball carrier. We've seen a couple of times where he make 3-4 guys miss physically, or he's bounced it to the outside. So with that, Wayne, he just had to make one cut, and his speed showed.
There's been 10 different players that have caught a touchdown pass this year. Tell me just about the trust you have in a variety of different guys.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's not just, one or two guys you're keying in on, like Wiz. He only caught one pass on Saturday, but it was a big one. And just to have the trust you have in a number of different guys.
Yeah, I mean, when you move everybody all over the field like that, everybody's not just in one spot. And like we've talked about, we have depth. Those guys care. They believe. Coach Harp's a great receiver coach. Coach Kenny's a great offensive coordinator. And so when we come here and we meet and, we look at the stuff that we need to correct on tape, and everybody takes accountability and really cares about their job, it makes it easy for the spotlight to shine on you and you being ready. And in that case, Wiz was ready. Jaylon helped him, free him with a block, just like Deej helped Wayne on his run. So everybody's just selfless and waiting for the next opportunity.
You guys already talked a lot about you and Wayne's relationship and your history and everything, but to be two guys who are now being mentioned as potentially players of the year in this conference, and think back 2 years ago, like, do you ever talk about like that journey, or like, man, I can't believe like we actually like made it through this and are playing now?
Yeah, I'll poke fun of them. I'll look up on, my Snapchat memories, and I'll see like a video from 2 years ago, and I'll send it to Wayne, and we laugh. And I think just within all that, just the immense amount of gratitude that I'm sure both of us feel. At times there were times where you probably didn't feel like you could keep going, but we had a support staff. We had beliefs in ourselves, and I think that's just something that both of us are proud of. But at the same time, you can't bask in that because there's more to be had within this season. So I'm sure we'll look back at this season and smile even bigger.
I know Jarvis kind of mentioned the play to Wiz on Saturday, but I'm curious how much confidence you had in that play, because you sold the run beautifully. I think all of us in the press box almost thought that you were going to carry that ball instead of drop back and pass it. So how much confidence did you have that play was going to set up as well as it did? Yeah,
we had a lot of confidence. I mean, just that's a well-disciplined team, a well-coached team, and within that, you could use that to your advantage. I mean, if you look at my draw before the half, when that cut out, I'm sure there were almost 11 hats to the football, and that happened within every play. That's something that we saw earlier in the week, 11 hats to the football, and just with that formation, that middle of the field safety, he was really nosy. That backside safety, he was also keying the tight end, and when he saw the block and he stepped down, it made my job way easier. And actually, one of the DBs were calling out quarterback run. So I knew I just had to take a couple steps, duck my head, drop back, and put it out there for Wiz to make him play, and he did.
How similar is Coastal Carolina compared to last year when you faced them?
Completely different team. They run a completely different scheme. They run more of the ODU scheme with the 3 high safeties. They take what we call as the king player. He's a little lower. The backers are a little closer. So it's a completely different scheme than last year. But, a new week, a new challenge for us. Opponents are nameless and faceless. We just have to make sure we go out there and execute.
I know when Coach Chesney was in here, he kind of made the comparison to ODU as well with that one player they kind of rove around. Does that help, having already faced a scheme that's somewhat similar?
Yeah, a little bit, because there are some similarities in how, those guys can move. I mean, when you look at a defense in general, you could draw a string to different players, and, if this guy moves here, this guy has to replace him. So it's simple math. It just looks a little different with 3 high safeties, but obviously seeing, how ODU plays it and playing them year in, year out, that can help us with our game plan for Coastal, but we're not facing the same exact defensive coordinator, so it's just seeing tendencies and, the differences between the two.
I think we've had multiple players now tell us that you watch more film than anybody they've ever seen, and that kind of has been what helps you get to this point. How much have you kind of relied on film, especially recently, in getting to being a consistent starter? Yeah,
film is a cheat sheet. I mean, like I said before, obviously you don't get the view, from up there. It'd be nice if I got the all 22 view on the field, but just being able to recognize patterns and movements and body language and stuff like that. I mean, I talk about it all the time with Coach Hitchler, just how they move everybody around, and seeing that it can help me with my film study. But I feel like I owe it to the guys around me. I've also been in the position to where I maybe didn't watch enough film and didn't have the confidence, and my confidence comes from, the film watching. So I touch the ball every play, me and Zach. So as long as we are on the same page and I know where to get the ball, I can save my guys from hits and also, help put them in positions to succeed. So that's just all I owe it to. It's just me doing my job.
Zach, coming off a close win against Washington State, where you guys were needed to come back and win that game, how did you see this offense kind of settle in and get to that point where they, Zoe can hit Wiz for the touchdown and just kind of solidify the win, especially with Wayne's run later?
I think it was great because I think it proved a lot about us. I think it showed how we can bounce back. I think going to halftime, it was, I don't know about the first time, but one of the first times we were down at halftime. And, our coaches are great, are making adjustments. But I think just once the first play with Wiz hit and the stadium erupting, that's just, we needed it and we got it. And from there on, there's no looking back. The momentum was in our favor. The fans, Bridgeforth was probably the craziest I've ever seen yet. And just taking that opportunity and just running with it. And next drive, first drive to start the half, had a really long drive, couldn't get any points out of it. But at that point, we knew the run game was there. We knew at some point it was going to break, and it was just putting plays together and different types of formations and everything together. And then for Wayno to hit that touchdown was just awesome.
You mentioned Bridgeport. Just how has your experience been here at JMU this year, coming over from UNC?
Yeah, it's incredible. I think this fan base, it's as advertised. I think everyone always talks about how great it is, but you really can't understand until you're standing there. I found myself this game just looking around, just like amazed at how loyal these fans are. I feel like every game it just keeps getting better and better, and I don't think the fans sometimes realize, I'm sure they do, but just how much of an impact that makes in every single game. I mean, there wasn't a seat this week or last week. I mean, they just continue to show up and show out every single week, and the impact that has on us as players and how we feed off of them and how it allows us to play at the max capacity. And really, I think it shows. I mean, their delay of game was truly because of the crowd, and that says a lot about our fans here.
What did you learn about this team after this latest win?
That in the face of adversity, like we're going to power through. We're going to find a way to win. That's what we've always said all years, is find a way. And in the time we need it the most, we were able to get a gritty win. I mean, all week we knew this was the type of game it was going to be. They were a really good defense, a really good team overall, physical players, really good scheme. So I think to get this win in the fashion we did, it was kind of something that we needed to also see to go forward for the next couple of games we have.
I know this is your first year here, but something Alonza did really well last year was his hard count and his cadence and being able to draw people off sides, and he hasn't needed to do it this year, but what's it been like kind of working with him and learning what he does well when it comes to his cadence?
I mean, I think Zoe in general is just amazing. I think like his cadence is great, but it's also everything kind of behind that. Just his approach to the game. He watches more film than anyone I've ever seen in my life. Him and I will meet once a week to make sure we're on the same page and everything, so that kind of allows us, whatever situation we're in, to be on the same page and not kind of be confused with whatever's going on. But, I mean, in terms of cadence, I mean, we always use it. It's an advantage to us and a disadvantage to the defense. No matter what we're doing, different types of things we have, it's always been an advantage to us, which is something that showed up this game and showed up previous games also.
I know you've kind of bounced around the line in your career. What's it like playing with a quarterback like that, and how much confidence does it give you when you are kind of the go-to guy at center? It
makes my job a lot easier. There's a lot of different mic IDs and conversations that kind of run through the whole entire offensive line that, I mean, I wouldn't say starts with the center, but has like a lot of it relies on the center's initial mic ID calls, and I just think having someone behind you that makes it a lot easier and is so knowledgeable, it definitely takes a little bit of pressure off of my job.
Mentioned earlier just about the crowd, the environment. I know you now officially get one more home game here for this season. Just how special is that to be able to get back here? And also, what has it been about this team that's allowed you guys to get into this type of situation?
So the first part of your question, I mean, it means everything to us as a team, but also this fan base. I mean, the fact that we're able to not only provide and see success on the field, but it's also because of them. And I know everyone, Jalen stood up here the other week. I mean, Zoe always talks about it, but it's the truth. I mean, the success we're able to see, it stems from them, and the support, it's not common across the country. You see a lot of videos of other G5 teams, even a lot of different P4 teams that don't even have half or a quarter of the support we have. So seeing that and having another opportunity for them and for us is just remarkable. What was the second part of the question?
Just what is it about this team that has allowed you guys to get to this type of situation at this point of the year?
Yeah, I think it's our mentality. I think Coach Chesney kind of set the standard early, and it's about the hunt. And we always say you're never protecting yourself, or you're never we're attacking. No matter what we're doing, whatever situation we're in, even if we're down 7 points at halftime, it's always attacking. And I think no matter the success we've seen, to us, all the goals that we've set in August when I first got here in January, we haven't really proven anything yet. There's nothing to really we have a good record. That's great, but all the goals that we've talked about, nothing's really been proven. Nothing's really been done yet.
What have you all seen from Coastal Carolina as you've started preparing for them?
Yeah, I think for my job as a center specifically, whenever you have a nose in front of you, it definitely makes your job a little bit harder. I mean, when you have a 4-down front, it makes it a little bit easier, center specifically. It puts more stress on the guards, to get grayed out with the 4-down front. For me, it's, slide left, slide right. It's a little bit easier. But a 3-down front, it definitely makes things a little bit harder, especially with the personnel they have. They have a really good nose, they have really good DNs, and their front five, including the linebackers, are really good the linebackers play downhill hard. I think it's going to be a really good competition. I know playing away in the Sun Belt also is always a challenge, and I think just it's another opportunity for us to prove ourselves and go against great competition.
There was one video angle of Wayne's run where I don't even think he was like at the second level yet, and Alonza just puts his hand up. He knew he was gone. Like, I know you were probably kind of engaged at that moment, but like, do you ever have moments on the field where you're like, oh, well, that worked, and like get to kind of enjoy it in that way?
I guess the short answer is yes, and I think as an offensive lineman, to go back on Bridgeforth, the only way I know is by the crowd noise, and it will erupt. On Wayne's touchdown, I mean, the two loudest I've ever heard it was Wayne's touchdown last week and the ODU touchdown when Alonza pulled it to start for us. And when that happens, I mean, you kind of just black out and go crazy. Just, like I said, it's hard for us to actually see, him run down the end zone because we're trying to block and finish blocks. But, I mean, it's just awesome.
Coach Chesney has talked to us a few times about how you guys have acknowledged, the number by your name now, in the fact that you guys are ranked, but you're not letting it take over. How does that mentality kind of get created among you guys where, you can recognize that you've done well up to this point, but you're not letting that noise affect you all too much?
Yeah, I think that's something that Coach Chesney has done a great job of keeping us level-headed, and really it's just ignoring the noise. No matter if it's good noise or bad noise, it's about the people in the locker room. You go through good times and hard times. It's really about leaning on each other and working with each other. But I think, at points, it's cool to just take a step back and appreciate where we are just because it's based off of hard work. But like I said before, it doesn't really mean anything because we have 3 guaranteed games left no matter what, and nothing's really done yet. We still have Coastal this week, the conference championship the next week, and a bowl game or a playoff game the week after that. And to us, what we really want is still out there. And to us, the number doesn't really mean much because we still have to prove and win everything that we want that we've been talking about for months on end.
I mean, for you, when you spent the first 3 years of college at Division III, if I'm not mistaken, and then making the jump to Division I, how would you kind of describe that jump? What are the differences? And just, I don't know, talk a little bit about your growth, I guess, if you could. Yeah,
so my undergrad I actually played left tackle. So getting thrown inside at North Carolina was definitely a learning curve, to say the least. But I mean, to end up here, I think my mom always says, the best is yet to come and everything happens for a reason. And just to be able to be in front of an environment like this, I mean, I love the path that I've been on. I think I've been able to learn from some really great coaches, and just to get thrown into the fire and move completely different from left tackle to center. I play a little bit of guard and then back to center. And I just think the growth comes from different coaches and different positions. And now being with Coach Smith and Coach Kennedy, I think the approach that they have every week and the just the knowledge that they have is just incredible. And just I'd like to say I've learned a lot, but there's just so much more to learn from them because every week when you get a new look or something like a new caveat, and you're like, whoa, and Coach Smith is like, all right, well, this is what you do here. And it's just like, it's like second nature to him. And it's just so easy to talk through. And so I think that's another part of the growth and just learning how much more there is to really know.
Heading into this week against Coastal, you guys are, on a pretty good win streak that required you guys to fight late into the game against Washington State. How much confidence can a game like that kind of give you in this final push?
Yeah, I think that game just really showed how resilient we are. And, every single week we just keep pushing and keep getting better. And then that game was a real challenge. Just to see us come out with a win on that one was really good. And, that's kind of some momentum building. And Coastal, we're going to need it. They're a tough team. And I'm glad we can bring that into this game.
How much of a feeling it out process is there against a team like Washington State where, there isn't really much overlap at all?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is our weekly preparation. And, we went into that one knowing that they were going to fight and be a real gritty team. And obviously during the game, you're gonna feel some adversity and experience some challenges. And then when we just go in at halftime, we just figure all that stuff out. And coach just tells us we got to play hard, and then we'll fix the mistakes come halftime. And I feel like we did that really well, and we played a really good second half of football that game.
What are the benefits of playing a team like you did last week, where they're tough, they're physical, they're downhill, and how can that benefit you all? The rest of the season? Yeah,
I think you get to experience what, real tough football is like and real gritty football. And, we've seen a lot of different styles of football from the teams that we have played this year. And from what I understand, Coastal is a pretty explosive offense, and they, get points on the board. So just to have that fight this past weekend is going to help us a lot during this game and, keep us very level-headed and just tough going through whatever adversity we face in this next game.
We talked about the crowd with the guys after the game Saturday. The crowd's already come up again
Oh, yeah.
today. Just from the defensive side of things, it seems like you guys really feed off of that. Just tell me about how the crowd was able to lift you all, especially in the second half.
It's awesome. I mean, whether, we do something good or bad, they're there for us, and always we got them cheering us on the whole way through, so we feel that we get energy off of that, and they've been great every single home game, every single away game. I mean, we bring fans, and we can hear them there too. So we're going to need that this week, and then for the conference championship, we're going to feel that as well.
You've mentioned Coastal already a little bit, and just kind of their explosiveness and what they can bring on offense. What are kind of some of the other things you've noticed about them as early in the week?
Yeah, tough running team again, very similar to Washington State and how they run the ball. They love to run the ball. I think they've had a couple of different quarterbacks come in and man the offense. So whoever we get, we're going to have to be prepared for that. And, it just comes with all the film we watch and, the look we get. The scout players are fantastic, and they give us a good look every single week. And, we'll be ready for it for sure.
Like a couple of years ago when JMU made the transition and they were building an FBS roster, one of the ways that really stood out was they basically only played 4 or 5 guys on the defensive line and didn't adjust for down or distance or anything like that. Like, you guys have so much depth, and I see you guys running in and out. Like, how much does that help you? And, like, just talk a little bit about, like, this group as a whole that everybody can kind of get in there and contribute.
I think that's a huge advantage for us, and that, we have whatever 4 we roll in on the defensive line is going to be, is going to fight and be really, really good. And, I think for an offensive line and an offense in general, like, just to see that it's pretty tough to, see 4 fresh guys come in and they're playing just at the same level as the 4 that left out. So, that's a pretty scary thing, and I wouldn't want to go against a team like that.